Hey there everybody, Chris from Orlando here, and today we've been slowly creeping back to normality. Shanghai Disney has been open for a hot minute, Hong Kong Disney looks like it's about to do a soft opening for cast members soon, and Disney Springs has just reopened here in Orlando. But how is Disney handling this? And is it too early for this kind of thing to be happening? Well, there's only one way to find out, but unfortunately, we'll have to go outside. Alright. Go. Ooh, it's bright out. Alright. This isn't so bad. Oh god, Corona! So naturally, I've been looking at Shanghai Disney to see how they've been handling things, and for the most part, I like what they're doing. Mandatory masks and temperature checks, extremely limited amount of people in the park, having cast members walk the lines in order to make sure everyone's keeping social distancing. It looks good. Granted, we won't know for sure how this affects the number of Coruscant virus cases over there until sometime next week, but it looks like they're trying to take as many precautions as possible. I've been looking at the wait times as well. The benefits of being a night owl. And they went from pretty reasonable, the highest I saw was 40 minutes on the first day, to, oh god, why is everything on fire? 2 hours max on my most recent check. Now, this might have to do with more of how they're loading the vehicles than just having a whole bunch of people in the park, but spending 2 hours in a line probably isn't the best way to minimize spread. But I can't really talk much about Shanghai since I'm not Chris from Shanghai, so let's talk Disney Springs. Like Shanghai, Disney World has opened their shopping areas before the parks in order to test things out. So when I went, it certainly was less busy than I'm used to. But I wouldn't say it was too much slower than average daytime hours when everyone's usually at the parks. When I first parked, you of course have to do a temperature check, and frankly, this was my biggest concern with reopening because I thought this kind of thing would take forever. I was done in about 5 seconds. Granted, there was no line when I got there, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have taken more than 5 minutes even if there was a line. They just take their little thermostats, internally say pew 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 pew, and you'll be on your way. Direction signs were everywhere, clearly marking 6 feet apart and reminding people what the rules are. A lot of stores and restaurants were still closed, but it was nice to be on Disney property again. So let's talk about how Disney and the businesses handled the reopening. And how the people handled it. First, the people. I walked in expecting the worst. I was expecting maskless chaos, people not following social distancing. I expected it to be a mess. But I was pleasantly surprised. It might be because everyone there were locals and like 60% were fellow YouTubers reminding you to like and subscribe to the channel, but it seemed like almost everyone was well behaved. Keyword almost. While yes, most people were walking around with their mask on, there were plenty that weren't. Or it's those people who have a mask on but their nose is sticking out, completely defeating the point of having the mask. It wasn't a large number, but it was something I saw every few minutes. This obviously doesn't include those who were eating or drinking, except those people who were holding a drink but weren't actively drinking at the moment. I bought myself an overpriced drink, but I made sure I only uncovered my mouth when I was taking a drink. Was it fucking annoying? Yes, but I was there to prove a point. But despite that, those people were an extreme minority. Look at this footage from the longest line I saw at Chicken Guy. Now, personally, I don't like Chicken Guy. He's not the celebrity chef I want at Disney Springs, you fucking donkey! But I know it's a popular restaurant. But look at this line. The line markers end about halfway through this line, but people are still keeping their distance without anyone having to tell them to. Could it be possible that the general population is actually somewhat competent and that years of encounters with bad apples have ruined my opinion on the whole batch? Nah, people are just stupid and this is an oddity. So, with the guests doing well, how did Disney do? I'd be more lenient because it's their first day back, but we are in the middle of a global pandemic, so let's get into it. First, as mentioned, the temperature check was quick and easy. My first couple steps out of the parking garage, I saw a hand sanitizer station, and one of the cast members are using it in order to make sure everyone's following the rules. I even noticed that they have the lids on the trash cans locked upright, that way you don't even have to touch them. Alright, cool, this is looking good, I thought. But then I started noticing less of those things. I got my overpriced beer, and when I finished it, I couldn't find a hand sanitizer dispenser. I thought it weird and went looking for 20 minutes before finding one. Now, I'm as blind as those people who ask where Cinderella Castle is despite standing right in front of it, but it seems like that should have been easier to find. Also, those cast members that are there to enforce the rules, I counted only 6 of them. And I did an entire lap all around Disney Springs. Again, I'm willing to admit that maybe it's the wrong place at the wrong time, but I felt like I should have seen more of them, right? Disney is taking a big risk reopening while Coruscant virus is still running amok. You'd think that the precautions they are taking would be a bit more readily available. If Disney is planning on using these measures in the parks, they need to step up their game. And I really hope they do. Also, why is Disney marking where you shouldn't be standing as opposed to where you should be standing? You know people aren't going to read those signs and will stand there. So that was my experience and thoughts of Disney Springs reopening. As someone who works in the theme parks, would I feel comfortable going back to work like this? Hard to say without seeing the data from Shanghai, but if Disney ups their enforcements of the guidelines while in the park, and the people who do come here actually follow those guidelines, well, at least I can experience the apocalypse while riding Space Mountain. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Chris from Orlando, and it was kind of bittersweet to overpay for beer once again. Take care, y'all. One love. Don't hurt nobody.